I'm now going to talk about HERCEPTIN. Probably more than 80% of you won't need to know about this. This is because my test results from my initial tissue sample were that I was HER2 positive. I was really in the dark about what that meant, and after I had my initial lab results when I was first diagnosed, and they said that I was grade 2, I thought that was it. And the surgeon, the first surgeon I saw, sort of mumbled a little bit, oh, you know, there's some other test results to come, but let's think positive. And I didn't question him on that. So later on, when I came back from my holiday and saw the surgeon he referred me to, then I realised there was more to it. And then we had the meeting where I had to go for the test results, and that was the hardest part, was hearing that I was positive. Mainly because it was unknown, maybe because it sounded serious, and I didn't really understand at that time what was involved. That also meant that I needed chemotherapy, which I wouldn't have had otherwise, and we couldn't get straight on with the surgery, which I wanted. I just thought, get this thing out of me, sort of thing. But my surgeon preferred to do the chemotherapy first to shrink the tumour, and I put myself in her hands. I had the first lot of chemotherapy, and because the FEC can affect your heart, they don't start the HERCEPTIN until you've finished that. They made me a plan for starting the injections. So with HERCEPTIN, it is 1 injection every 3 weeks. Now, just to go back, something I forgot to say is that when she first told me I was HER2 positive, she said 15 years ago this would not have been good news. But with HERCEPTIN, it has changed everything. And that was now 20 years ago, because we're almost 5 years on from when I was first diagnosed. And HERCEPTIN, it was explained to me, changes the way your cancer cells reproduce. That if you're HER2 positive, your cancer cells multiply too fast, and HERCEPTIN has been developed to go into the cell and actually change the way it does that. And this is a miraculous leap forward in scientific discovery. And this answered my question of, you know, where was all the charity money going? This is an example of that, and that made a huge difference to me. Originally, they gave it every 3 weeks for 2 years. In my case, it was every 3 weeks for a year, which took some organising once I was all recovered, and I still had to be around for my injection and make sure any holidays were scheduled not to coincide with that. But now it's down to 6 months. That's marvellous, because pretty much when you're in recovery, you've had your radiotherapy and it's all over with. What I needed first of all was a MUGA heart scan. They inject you with something which is actually radioactive, and there's a special toilet that you must use, nobody else must go in, and you mustn't be around pregnant women or children. So I felt a bit strange. That's only for a couple of days. So I just kept my distance, which, you know, we're all used to socially distancing now, so that's just a step further. The treatment was so convenient. So I could go to the hospital, but it's some 20 odd miles away, the Velindre Cancer Hospital. So they said, well, if you'd like to have it at home, there is a service that we can provide you with that. So I elected to have it at home. And I said to my employer, well, I'll have to go home, which was only about 6 miles, and back again once I've had my injection. But they like the nurse stays around for about an hour to make sure you don't have any side effects or adverse reaction. And then I was talking to the nurse who administered the injection the first time and said, oh, I've had to shoot back from work and now I'll have to shoot back again. And she said, well, we can come to your place of work if that would suit you. Marvellous. So we set aside the smallest conference room and made it secure and private. And we went in there and she'd go through her checklist and give me the injection. And then she'd say, well, go back and carry on working. I'll hang about now till the hour's up. If you have any adverse reaction, come and let me know. Failing that, I won't even say goodbye. I'll just let myself out. I couldn't believe how marvellous the service was, and so that's what we did. With the MUGA heart scans, you will have them then periodically through that time that you're having it. But in my case, I had a few MUGA heart scans because my treatment lasted for a year. But as I understand it now, it is 6 months, and so you won't have that many. They check your heart output, so you put inside the donut-shaped machine, and it is quite a long time. I took some music with me to play, but that wasn't working at the time, so I had to go back to my visualising myself in the future on a marvellous holiday and that sort of thing to pass the time. And I think they put Radio 2 on or something for me. And I was really pleased that my heart didn't lose too much output, and I didn't need medication to assist it. And what you've got to do is give yourself a big pat on the back and give yourself credit for achieving things like that. And I was really pleased because I felt that in a lot of ways my body had let me down, but actually it bounces back really well, and I give it credit for that. And I was really pleased that I got through all of my HERCEPTIN and my heart was fine, and then it could start to recover and get back to its normal output, and I could get on with my life. What I hope you'll take from this is not to be too fearful. I was really fearful, didn't know how it was going to happen, and I could only take in so much information at a time. It was sort of cross each bridge as I came to it. But then in the back of your mind all the time is the unknown and the worry, and the early hours of the morning, that's when it comes around. So if you got that reassurance, then that goes a long way towards helping you to sail through your treatment.